Hello everyone, this is part 1 of What If Naruto Left Konoha to Save His Life. This story is made by Walkins75, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me. 22-year-old Sakura Haruno jumped from tree branch to tree branch as she was on her 5th S ranked in a mouth. She lowered her head as she thought back to that day 6 long years ago. Anime and manga. Council room. Sakura Haruno, you have been Naruto Uzumaki's squad mate since you two were genin, correct? Asked Danzo, as he looked at the paperwork. Yes, said Sakura as she stood at the center of the circulate table with every single council member sitting all around her. Naruto was sitting in a corner with 2 Anbu standing next to him. Okay, have you ever seen him lose control of the Kyuubi? Asked Danzo. And may I remind you that if you do not speak the truth then you will be banned from the ninja corps. It's okay Sakura-chan, said Naruto softly from the corner. I am so sorry Naruto, said Sakura with pain in her voice. Yes I have. Back in the real world. Sakura, pay attention, yelled Sasuke. Sorry, said Sakura, I will forgive you this time, but next time you will have to spend time in the prisons, said Sasuke as they kept jumping. Yeah, forehead. If you just follow Sasuke-kun's orders, you wouldn't have to spend all that time in prison, said Ino. Ino, I will never understand why you still call him kun, said Sakura. Anime and manga. And I will never understand why you stopped trying to get him. I mean he is the strongest ninja in our village, said Ino. Also the coldest and cruelest, said Sakura before she thought back to that day. Naruto Uzumaki, you have been found to be a threat to this village and also found to be the person who drove the Uchiha away, said Danzo. But I brought him back. Almost said Hiashi Hyuga. As punishment, you are sentenced to death, said Danzo, as Naruto's eyes widened. Death and tragedy. No, you are not, yelled Sundi as she burst through the door. Yes, Tsunade, we are serious, said Danzo as he stood up and looked at the very angry woman. No, as Hokage, I overrule your death sentence, said Tsunade. Then you leave us no choose, said Danzo, as of this moment, Lady Tsunade, you are removed from the Hokage's positions. I do not care about that. I hated that job but my final order still stands, said Tsunade as the Anbu stepped away from Naruto. Okay then, said Danzo, as my first order as the 6th Hokage, I order the death of Naruto Uzumaki. As fast as a lightning, Tsunade spun around and punched the 2 Anbu so hard in the face that it broke their masks. Naruto, run. I will take care of this. Just get out of this village and somewhere safe. Naruto had gotten away safely and had disappeared. The only thing that they found was his headband. As for her master, she was made into an example of to those who would stand against the new Hokage. Her head was cut off in front of the whole village and different body parts was sent to each gate as a sign to all whom ruled this village. Danzo ruled with an iron fist that knew no mercy and only death. He started his rule by taking every orphan and train them to be root Anbu members. He did away with the ninja schools and had the kids learn on the battlefield. Also, if anyone refused a mission for any reason, they were sent to one of the many prisons until they had taught the error of their ways. Sakura had to spend a year in prison because she spoke out against Tsunade's death and Naruto's exaltation order. The only reason they let me out is because they need someone to run the hospitals after Shizune disappeared. Also, there is the fact that they will kill my parents if I disobey them, thought Sakura as the 3 of them stopped in a large tree overlooking a small farming village of maybe a dozen houses and some barns. Anime and manga. Okay, the of 2 you know the mission, said the head of the ANBU, Sasuke Uchiha, dressed in the standard Anbu uniform, all black minus the mask. Yes Sasuke-kun, said Ino. Sakura, remember, if you disobey my orders, your parents and your new baby brother said Sasuke, as Sakura looked down as her thoughts are filled with images of her 5-year-old brother. She found out about him after he was born because she had spent her mother's pregnancy in a cold wet prison cell chained to wall. When she finally got home, she found her mother holding a 5-month-old red-haired boy in her arms. I will follow your orders, as she looked at the ground. Now then, let's make an example of this village so that the others will pay their protection money, said Sasuke, as the three of them headed toward the village, just as a thunderstorm started to flash across the night sky. Your total is $6.20, said the food stand owner as he handed the food and drink over to the man as the hard rain came through the holes in the old roof. Here, said the man as he put the money on the table. Sir, this is 100, said the stand owner and cook. Keep it. Looks like this village could use some help. Yeah, our crops have been failing for 3 straight years now. We barely have the food to feed ourselves, yet alone sell anything, said the owner as he sat down across from the man. I see, said the man as he slowly started to eat somehow, through the dark mask that covered the lower part of his face. The stranger had a black hooded cloak with a white sign on its back shaped like the letter W but with the center point a lot higher than the others. Also, around the sign was a white circle. The man's eyes were covered up by dark glasses and covered the distance between the mask and the hood. The cloak covered his body except for the heavy dark gray boots. Around his waist was his katana. I am guessing you're a wandering ninja, said the owner. No, I am just a ninja very far from home, said the man before looking at the man, and let's leave it at that. No argument, but I should warn you that the fire country is not that safe for traveling. The Hokage is demanding pay for being in their land, money for their protection, and the use of his land, said the owner before lowering his head. I wish the 5th Hokage was still alive. Well, I am only passing through to Wind Country to give a message to the Kazekage. I see, but Wind Country is in worse shape than us. They had to give the land to the Hokage or else they wouldn't get any food after the earthquakes that rocked the area, said the owner. I see, said the man as he drank some tea through the mask, so the Hokage is that power hungry. You have no idea. With the sound gone, the recent earthquakes in Earth and Wind Country and the storms in Water Country are destroying all 3 countries' economy. Fire and Cloud are the powerhouses and the Hokage wants it all, said the owner. Yes, it has been a few bad years, said the man. That is an understatement, said the owner as the man stood up. Thanks for the meal. Also, you might as well close the shop because I can sense that there are 3 ninjas coming this way. Don't worry, I will take care of them, said the man as he walked into the muddle street, just as lightning filled the sky. He stood there waiting as 3 figures walked into the street. Well, hello there, said Sasuke as he walked up to the man, who stood a good 6 inches taller than him as the ice-cold rain just kept pouring down. Leave now. I have heard what ninjas from your village are doing and I will not allow it to continue, said the man. Isn't he funny, Sakura? This person thinks he can stop me, said Sasuke with a grin as Sakura stayed stone-faced. I ask you a question, woman, and you better answer it now. I do not know, sir. He is an unknown, so we have no clue what he is capable of, said Sakura, and as fast as lightning, Sasuke punched her so hard that everyone could hear the sound of Sakura's jaw breaking as Sakura fell into the mud. I am a new Uchiha and that is all you need to know. Just for that, you are spending a week in the prison, said Sasuke as Sakura placed her hand against her jaw as she started to heal the break. Since I'm going to jail, I just want to say this, you snake. You are without a doubt the most evil, heartless son of a b on the face of this earth, said Sakura as she stood back up only to be sent flying back into the mud. Make it 2, you demon lover. You will never get over the fact that the Dobe is gone and that you never told him that you love him, said Sasuke as he spat on Sakura's head as she started to cry into the mud. Loser. So this is how you take care of your own, said the man as he looked at Sasuke before turning his gaze to Sakura. Are you all right? Look at me, you worthless man. I am the one who you have to worry about. Sasuke yelled as he finished and felt the wind get knocked out of him and saw that the man's gloved fist him in the gut. I am not talking to you. So shut up. The man removed his fist, causing Sasuke to fall to his knees. His eyes rolled back in his head before passing out. Ino tried to attack, but she too found herself in the mud beside him. Slowly, the man walked over to Sakura and knelt down next to her and leaned into her ear before whispering in Sakura's ear. Are you alright, Sakura-chan? Sakura's tears-filled eyes shot open as the rain picked up. It can't be. Sakura-chan, please do not speak yet, but it is me, Naruto. He placed a quick illusion jutsu over the area so that only Sakura could see him. He slowly removed his glasses, which showed his bright blue eyes and pulled the mask down to show his face that held his whiskered cheeks. It's him. Thank God it's him, thought Sakura. Yes, we are finally going to be safe from all those mindless drones of Danzo. Naruto-kun will be able to save us all, yelled inner Sakura as she jumped for joy. Don't worry. If you want, I will get you somewhere safe, said Naruto as Sakura lowered her head. I wish I could go with you, Naruto-kun, but I can't. If I leave, they will kill my parents and my baby brother. I love you, Naruto-kun, but I can't let my family said Sakura. I understand, Sakura-chan, said Naruto with a smile before his face became serious. Don't worry, Sakura-chan. I will get you out and keep your family safe at the same time. I will be back in Fire Country in less than a week and send you a message when it is time. Thanks, Naruto-kun, she said before Naruto put his mask and glasses back on. Now, Sakura-chan, do you think you can carry these two back to the village? It should help you get out of the snake's prison, said Naruto as he stood back up and dispelled the jutsu. Now, leave before I decide to kill you all, he yelled, in case Ino or Sasuke started to wake up. Sakura formed two shadow clones and took Ino and Sasuke into her arms. It took all her will to jump away from Naruto as her inner self kept yelling to go back and be with Naruto. Naruto just stood there for a moment, letting the pouring rain hit his body. Slowly, he walked toward Wind Country. My God, Sakura said she loves me, thought Naruto with a smile as the forest became a tall grassland that marked the boundary between Fire and Wind Country. It had only been 24 hours since the run-in with Sakura, Sasuke and Ino at the small farming village. I just hope nothing happened to her. Sakura Haruno, said Danzo as Sakura stood in front of the 6th Hokage. Yes, sir, said Sakura. In Sasuke Uchiha's report says that you went against an order on the battlefield, said Danzo. I don't think warning your teammate of a threat is going against orders, stated Sakura. Free thought on a battlefield is useless, you have to follow orders no matter what, said Danzo. The average ninja is a tool and tools don't think. And who is it that decide who is worthy of free thought? Asked Sakura as Danzo smiled. I do, and you are not one of those ninjas, said Danzo. That is why I made you give up the slug contract to Ino Yamanka, and that is why she is also running the hospital instead of you. Really, I thought that was because of those laws you passed giving all the power to the council-level clans, said Sakura. No, they get those jobs because they are above-average ninjas, said Danzo with a grin. It's just fate that all the above-average ninjas come from the council-level clans. Now, as for your insubordination, you will not go to jail because you brought your 2 injured teammates home. However, I will not pay you for the past 2 weeks. Sakura's eyes widened at that. But Lord Hokage, with my father's injured, my family need that money to pay for food, yelled Sakura as Danzo smiled. Maybe this will teach you to follow orders, said Danzo, dismissed. Meanwhile, Naruto had reached the sand dunes that covered the northern border of the Wind Country. Man, it's hot out here, said Naruto out loud as he sat down in the sand and drank some water from his canteen. Better cancel my body warming just to. With that, Naruto put his hand into a tiger sign before yelling. Release. With that, a small light emitted from him before fading. Much better. After that, Naruto started back up the sand dunes. When he reached the top of the tallest, he got his first look at Sand Village. His eyes shot wide as he saw the state it was in. There was a huge hole in the outer wall and there was rubble in the streets. Even the Kazekage house had side missing. The earthquake must have been worse than even I, though, thought Naruto as he started down the sand dunes. Back in the Leaf Village, Sakura walked through one of the inner gates. Since Danzo took over the village 6 years ago, 2 new walls came up. It was said they were to protect the village and key buildings to the village's defense, but if anyone took a second to look at where the walls were placed, they would see the truth. Inside the first wall sat on the border between the clan areas of the city. The area where the main clans had the compounds all around the Hokage Tower. The second wall was where the middle clans and the rich commoners lived. This section was where Sakura and her family lived. Then came the final wall that divided the middle class and the poor slums that had grown since the natural disasters around the world. The village was now divided by class, and in order to get anywhere you had to get through checkpoints all manned by Anbu with orders to K for any law being broken. This village isn't home, it's hell, thought Sakura as she reached her parents' small house. Naruto walked through the broken and creaked gate guarded by Sand Jonin. Naruto did a quick look at them and noticed that they were thin and looked in desperate need of some water. State your busyness, asked a man with purple face paint and a large bag on his back. I need to speak with the Kazekage, said Naruto. I have a message to give to your leader from my leader. What leader? Asked Kankuro. I am a ninja from the nation hidden in the ice, said Naruto as Kankuro placed a hand under his chin. Isn't the land of ice, across the ocean? Asked Kankuro. Yes, it is, said Naruto as Kankuro raised an eyebrow. Then you traveled a long way, why not just send a hawk? Asked Kankuro. Hawks often get lost over the ocean and this message had to be delivered. Also I know this land so my cage sent me, said Naruto. I will explain more once I speak with the Kazekage. Fine, follow me, said Kankuro as he started down the street with Anbu on each side of him. As they walked down the streets, Naruto noticed the market was almost bare and the few pieces of food that were there were a poor grade. Also the street had a huge creek running though it. The sand village is deep trouble, thought Naruto as they passed a small well. An old lady was raising the bucket when it came to the top. There was only sand in it. I see you notice the dire situation our village is in, said Kankuro. The earthquake destroyed the underground water supplies that our village needs. I am sorry that happened, said Naruto. So am I, said Kankuro. Sakura walked through her parents' front door. Even though she was 22, she lived at home. Her father had been hurt when the caravan he was in charge of was attacked by refugees, as such he had lost all movement in his left leg. He was lucky to still have a leg, but now he had to use a cane the rest of his life, and since he could never walk proper anymore, he was fired from his job at the Leaf Village Trading Company, and the Hyugas who all ran the company refused to give her father the injury pay. With the loss of that money, Sakura became the main source of income for her family. Her mother also worked at the trading company as a secretary, but she didn't make a lot of money. So Sakura had moved back home and used her rent money to help her family pay for food and clothing. Sakura walked into the kitchen to find her mother washing the dishes. Her mother's long pink hair reached her lower back. Hello mother, said Sakura as she sat down at the small dining room table. How was your mission? Asked Rin Haruno. Not good, we ran into a stranger and Sasuke had to fight him, said Sakura. Sounds like that Uchiha to fight someone he has no idea how strong he is, said Rin as she turned around to face her daughter. Yeah, but this mistake cost us mother, said Sakura sadly as Rin raised an eyebrow. I warned Sasuke not to fight and he said I wasn't following orders. Rin lowered her head. So how much did we lose? Asked Rin. 2 weeks of pay, said Sakura. I am so sorry mother. Sakura, you have nothing to be sorry for, said Rin as she placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder. We will manage. Without you we would never have made it this far. Thanks mom, said Sakura before smiling. I did enjoy seeing Sasuke getting his ass handed to by Naruto. Sakura's eyes widened as she realized what she just said. She looked up to see her mother smiling. So the strange ninja was Naruto? Asked Rin. Please mom, you can't tell anyone, he said he would be in the Leaf Village within a week. Pleaded Sakura. Don't worry Sakura, my lips are sealed. Said Rin, but you should have told him that he has a AK order on his head. He knows that mom, but he is masked and he beat Sasuke with one punch. Said Sakura dreamily. He also said he would find a way to protect you three. I see, and what about you? Asked Rin as Sakura shifted in her seat. Well, he said if I wanted to I could go with him. Said Sakura as Rin smiled. Good, said Rin as Sakura looked at her mother. Sakura, I want you to be happy, even if he can't protect us, go with him but take your brother with you. Mom, are you sure? Asked Sakura. Sakura's a mother's first instinct is to protect her kids at any cost, even if I never see him again, if he is safe and happy, that is all that matters, said Rin as Sakura's father walked into the room with one hand on his cane. Hey dad, said Sakura to her father Kane Haruno. Hey sweaty, said Kane as he poured himself some water. Hey Kane, Sakura got slapped by penalty, so no more snaking, we have to make our food money last for another 2 weeks, said Mrs. Haruno as her husband nodded his head before taking a sip of his water. Suddenly his hand slipped of his cane and fell to his knees. His wife and daughter was at his side in an instant as the glass broke on the floor. Dad, are you all right? Asked Sakura as she helped her dad to a chair. Fine, said Kane before looking his daughter in the eyes. Sakura, you shouldn't be here. What are you talking about, Dad? Asked Sakura. If I hadn't gotten injured then, started Kane. Dad, it's okay. If you haven't been stepped on by the company you have worked for 28 years then everything would be fine, said Sakura, unaware of what was happening in just miles away. At the main hospital of the village hidden in the leaves, Sasuke Uchiha was throwing another nurse to the floor. You can't stop me, growled Sasuke as he looked down at the frightened nurse. But sir, you have 5 broken ribs and the Hokage wants you to rest, said the nurse as the door opened letting two Anbu enter the room. Instantly Sasuke stopped as Danzo, the 6th Hokage, entered the room. Calm down Sasuke, said Danzo as Sasuke looked at him. I need to calm down, I am the strongest ninja in this village and this ninja beat me with a single punch. Growled Sasuke. From what I heard you had to deal with the Haruno and that gave him the opening he needed. Said Danzo as Sasuke nodded his head. Yes, that pink hair bee is the reason, said Sasuke with hate in his voice. Don't worry, you will never have to work with her again, said Danzo. How so? Asked Sasuke. Because you are not going out on missions anymore, said Danzo as Sasuke's eyes narrowed. Sir, I live for the K. I need to K that ninja, said Sasuke. No, the village needs you to rebuild your clan, ordered Danzo. At this moment you are the last of the Uchiha clan and we can't risk you going out into the field. So I have made arrangements for you to start a new training and give you time to restart your clan. What type of training? Asked Sasuke. Sasuke Uchiha, you have been chosen to become the 7th Hokage, said Danzo. Kankuro opened the door to the Kazekige's office letting Naruto enter the room. He did a quick look around the room. Gaara sat behind his desk. Next to him stood a woman wearing a black robe with her blonde hair was pulled back into 4 short ponytails. Another person standing in the room was a tall man, maybe 6'1" or so. He had a green Jonin vest on, he had black pants with sandals on his feet. Around his right arm was tied a leaf headband, a light cigarette was in his mouth and he had his dark brown hair pulled back into a short ponytail. Gaara, this ice ninja has a message for you, said Kankuro as Gaara looked up at the ninja for a moment. An ice ninja, that is new Naruto, said Gaara with a grin as Kankuro's, Shikamaru's and Temari's eyes widened. They watched as Naruto removed his mask and pulled down his hood. Why am I not surprised that you would knew it was me, said Naruto before eyeing Shikamaru. Are you going to try to take me to the leaf? No, because within 24 hours I will not be a leaf ninja, said Shikamaru. The leaf village has become a hellhole, Danzo controls everything. Thanks Shikamaru, said Naruto. You have no need to thank me, Naruto, said Shikamaru. I wouldn't have turned you in even if I wasn't defecting from the leaf. So are you becoming a sand ninja? Asked Naruto as Shikamaru shook his head. No, it would risk war, so Temari and I plan to head south though Sprit country to treasure country, said Shikamaru. Hopefully we can find a small village to live in peace away from the leaf. So you and Temari are together? Asked Naruto as both of them nodded. Danzo doesn't even allow a council-level clan to marry someone of a lower-level clan in the leaf and Temari is from another village, said Shikamaru sadly. I see, said Naruto before pulling out a scroll and handed it to Shikamaru. I can help you out a bit. If you can get to the Gem Village in Treasurer County, there is a man named Sokka. He owns a trading post and owns me a favor. He can get you across the ocean to Void Country and the Moon Village. If you two can get there within 2 weeks, Sakura and I will meet you there. There I can get you two into the Ice Village if you want. Thanks, said Shikamaru. So you plan to get Sakura out? She may not want to go. Her family needs her money just to live. I have a plan to make sure Sakura-chan's parents are safe and have plenty of money, said Naruto. Besides, Sakura said that she wants to come if her family is safe. I see, said Shikamaru. Before you head to Konoha I should fill you in on what has happened to everyone back home. Sure, what has been happening? Asked Naruto. The 7 great clans rule the village and live in the central area of the village behind a large wall. Marriages can only happen between the great clans, said Shikamaru. It's also what protected Sakura from Sasuke doing anything really bad to her. Good, but this law is also why you are leaving with Temari, said Naruto as Shikamaru nodded his head. But that isn't everything. Most of our old friends have changed and not for the better, said Shikamaru. Yeah, I saw Ino. She worships Sasuke like normal, said Naruto. Well, she is more than likely going to be Ino Uchiha soon, said Shikamaru sadly. She only wants him and doesn't care about what is happening to everyone else. She is a fangirl through and through. I see, said Naruto. What about the others? Hinata and Kiba are married. It was a forced marriage, but from the outside it seems to be working okay, said Shikamaru. Neji married Tenten in secret, but when she became pregnant the S hit the fan. What happened? Danzo couldn't let the child of a council-level clan member and a non-clan member live, said Shikamaru. He didn't, said Naruto as his blood began to boil as Shikamaru nodded his head. Yes, he did, and he killed Tenten in front of Neji before killing him as examples to anyone who would stand against him, said Shikamaru. How could someone be that evil? Said Naruto as red chakra danced around his fist. Naruto, they weren't the only ones to be killed by Danzo's laws and orders. Lee, Guy, Iruka and Konohamaru were all killed on missions that they shouldn't have been sent on to begin with, said Shikamaru. Kakashi, Shino and Choji? Asked Naruto. They just follow orders. I can't really tell if they are happy or not, said Shikamaru. I thought you and Choji were best friends, said Naruto. We drifted apart over the years, said Shikamaru. Alright, there is nothing we can do to help them, said Naruto. All I can do is help you two and Sakura's family. Yeah, but the problem will be the fact that we have to reach the gem village without getting caught by the leaf ninjas, said Temari. Don't worry, they will not be after you too, said Naruto with a grin. Yes, they will. Once I stop reporting in, they will send a squad here to find me, said Shikamaru. They won't be after you because I am going to give them a fox to chase, said Naruto with a grin. Danzo still wants my head, right? You can't be serious. He will send everyone after you, said Temari. Yes, but it will help me, but only if Gaara is willing to help, said Naruto as he looked at Gaara, who simply nodded his head. You're helping my sister and her husband, that is more than I need to give you whatever you want, said Gaara, but the earthquakes have destroyed most of our water supply. We are trying to find more, but it is a slow process. I see. Well, all you have to do is say that one of your ninjas spotted me in the mountains that mark the border between Wind and Earth country, said Naruto as Kankuro grinned. I see where you are going, said Kankuro. Danzo will send a lot of squads. They're letting me get into the leaf with less worry, said Naruto before looking at Shikamaru. Meanwhile, you two can head to the moon village. They will be so worried about me they won't notice that you're gone until it's too late. Good, but you better change out of those clothes. I got a message yesterday about a ninja dressed just like you attacked one of our ninjas, said Shikamaru. That was me, said Naruto. There is a on-site order for you, said Shikamaru as Naruto nodded. Alright, I will change out of these before I head to the leaf, said Naruto. So Naruto, why are you here in the first place? Asked Gaara. To give a message to the cages and to see what is going on over here, said Naruto. I have already been to Lightning, Earth, Grass and Waterfall country. After I am done here I will go Leaf Village before heading home. I see. And what is this message? Asked Gaara. That the ninja villages of Moon, Cliff and my home village Ice have joined in an alliance. So any attack on one is an attack on all three of us, said Naruto as Gaara nodded his head. If I remember correctly, that is 3 of the 7 ninja nations across the ocean, said Gaara. Yes, we are also the largest of the 7 ninja nations. Well, Rose Village in Flower Country is larger, but it isn't a ninja village, said Naruto. We are also in talks to add the Shadow Village in Demon Country and Blade Village in Warrior Country into our alliance. 5 nations acting as one is a hard thing to do, said Gaara as Naruto nodded his head. Yeah, but we found a way. Each village in the alliance sends an council-level member to a central place to talk, said Naruto. And where is your place, your village, Naruto? Asked Shikamaru. I am head Anbu captain, said Naruto. The word going around the village is that Arcade wants me to replace him, but the old laws say I have to live there at least 10 years before I can take the job. So maybe in a few years I will, but until then I will sever my new home. Alright, we will send a message to the Leaf, tell them you were sighted in the mountains, said Gaara. Good, now I better change before I head toward the Leaf, said Naruto. And Gaara, it was good seeing you again. Same here, Naruto, said Gaara as Naruto turned and head out the door. You two better get going, and Shikamaru, you better keep her safe and happy. Don't worry, Gaara, said Shikamaru before he and Temari headed out the door. Meanwhile, Naruto stood in the restroom of the Kazekige's building. He took off his cloak before sealing it into a scroll. Well, looks like I will have to go in my normal gear instead of Anbu uniform, thought Naruto as he also sealed his goggles inside. He stood up wearing his dark gray Jonin vest covering his black sleeveless shirt. He had his pants just like he had when he was a leaf ninja, instead they wear black instead of orange. Also he removed his boots and placed on his black sandals. He put on his black fingerless gloves before unsealing his normal cloak. It was similar to the one he knew his father, the fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze, once wore. Now it wasn't a copy of his father's, it was black instead of white and with red flames around the bottom. He threw it over his shoulders, making sure he could still pull out his katana before checking himself in the mirror. After that he pulled up his face mask, covering everything below his eyes. His whiskers marks would give him away right away. I hope that they don't see through this, or else I am going to have trouble getting Sakura out of there, thought Naruto as he ran his hand through his blonde hair. Over the years that had changed a bit as well, at the end of each of the sticky locks was a clear red tip. The little bit of red he got from his mother Kushina Uzumaki. Well, I better get going. The sun was going down in the Leaf Village as Danzo sat behind his desk, a glass of red wine in his hand as he looked down at the paperwork. Sasuke had accepted to become the 7th Hokage. His training would begin the next morning. Suddenly someone knocked at the door. Enter, said Danzo as his aide Hinata Inuzuka entered the room. Sir, you have a message from the Kazekage, said Hinata as she handed the scroll to Danzo. Danzo took the scroll in her hand. More than likely that Weakling Village needs more water, said Danzo as he opened the scroll before his eyes shot wide open. Get me Anbu squads 1 to 20 now. Yes sir, said Hinata before leaving the room. Naruto Uzumaki, soon you will be S, though Danzo. X. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.